But if you're telling me that LeBron James has Anthony Davis available to him, excuse me, I'm rolling with the Lakers to win the title immediately.
All right, thanks for watching Numbskull News. And in light of the NBA season about to start, a lot of stories and a lot of hype about the Los Angeles Lakers. They added Anthony Davis. Everyone has him in the finals now.
With taking a day at a time, where should this Lakers team end up by the end of the year?
Exactly where we want to.
Which is?
Where we want to be.
Where do you want to be?
Taking it a day at a time.
All right.
But if once you add up all those days, where can you end up?
The future.
Fair. You're going to move the calendar there, but the future, let's say April through June, April through May, where should the ceiling be for this group?
The ceiling,
Oh, God.
I don't know. I'm not sure. That's not up for me.
God.
I'm not an analysis. I'm not a, stat chaser or
He's not an analysis. Oh,
critic.
God, Michael.
So.
Oh,
like I
no,
said,
not
we're
like
here
this,
to do one
Michael.
job.
Because I have serious doubts of whether they can get that done. Now, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, that's a hell of a combo. I'm not going to lie. That's really, really solid. But as you see in the NBA, what's really important outside of defense is three-pointers. It's a three-point league. And who they got outside of Danny Green that can really consistently hit a three-point shot? Well, nobody. I mean, maybe Kyle Kuzma. We just haven't seen him do it yet. You got Rondo. I'm sorry. That's not a three-point shooter. Caldwell Pope, he's decent. But that's the problem. You don't have any of those lethal shooters outside of Danny Green. I mean, not even LeBron is, great at hitting the three. Anthony Davis can hit a little bit, but to me, that's a real problem. And then you look at the Western Conference. All right, so let me try to break down who, the obvious people that are actually going to be in the playoffs next year and kind of see where the Lakers fall. To me, the Clippers are the favorite to win it all. So there's no keeping them out of the first seed. And the reason I have them up that high, because they were a playoff team last year. They were an A seed. Their record was 48-34. A salty team, really well coached with Doc Rivers, and then you add two superstars, and Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Obviously, they are going to be in the playoff picture, more than likely the number one seed. After them, you got the Houston Rockets. They just added Westbrook. They're going to win a lot of games. Now, I don't believe in them in the playoffs, but that's not what this video is about. It's not about who's going to win the finals. It's about what teams can put together a lot of wins and capture a playoff spot. And the Rockets wouldn't shock me if they were a two seed, maybe a 3 seed at the least, but they're going to be they're going to be on the top margins of the Western Conference. The next two teams to really watch for to me, and there's a lot of similarities between the two. Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz, really good teams. They're going to win a lot of games. I think what counts a lot is having a roster that's been together, has grown together, and is winning together, and they're adding key pieces in the offseason. Portland. Everyone seems to think Portland is going to fall out of the playoff picture. I don't get that. They got an amazing backcourt. I'm not saying they're going to go on some championship run or anything, but that's the kind of team that can win a lot of games through the regular season, 55 plus. I don't know why people think they're going to fall out. That's just ridiculous. I mean, maybe people are tired of seeing them. They don't believe that they can win anything, so they just don't want them in the playoffs at all. Well, it's not your choice. These guys are good enough to get a top seed in the Western Conference, and they're hell of it. That's a hard team to beat, especially in Portland. San Antonio Spurs. I mean, they were the 7th seed last year. They'll probably end up being somewhere in that 6 to 7 range again. And look, they got Popovich. They're extremely well coached. They'll probably get knocked out in the first round, but they know how to win games in the regular season. And let's not forget about the Golden State Warriors. You know, there's some people speculating they may not make the playoffs. No. You still got two superstars going. Depth is definitely an issue. But around Christmas time, maybe a little after Klay Thompson comes back, they're going to go on a run. They're going to be in the playoffs. And I guarantee you they won't be any lower in the 5th seed. If you're keeping count, that's 7 teams. 8 teams make the playoffs. A lot of people have that say, well, the Lakers, they're going to be a top 3 seed. I heard the same thing last year with LeBron. Where did they end up? Last year, their record was 37-45. That was good enough for the 10th place team in the Western Conference. Let me start running through some of the teams that the Lakers are going to have trouble winning against that didn't even make the playoffs last year. Let's start with the Kings, who were the 9th best team in the league last year. And the Kings had a record of 39-43. Very young team, very exciting team, and they're only going to get better. But you're also going to have to contend with the Timberwolves. They won 36 games last year. You know, again, another young team that's going to get better. Dallas Mavericks last year were a 33-game winning team, but that's before the unicorn comes around. Now you got Porzingis in there. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot. And Luka Doncic and Porzingis, that's a hell of a duo. And young guys, exciting guys, and they got a ton of talent, and they can light it up. And the Mavericks have a lot of guys who can hit a 3. Grizzlies won 33 games. That's not a team you can take for granted. My problem with the Lakers is they gave away damn near their entire roster. Brought in one guy in Anthony Davis. Now you could say Anthony Davis is better than all 5 guys. True. But you're having to restart the entire franchise. You put 2 guys, you got 2 superstars who are great players, LeBron and Davis, but they never played together before. They never been co-stars before. Kuzma, can he be a 3rd superstar? I don't know. I haven't seen that out of Kyle Kuzma. I've seen some flashes. I've seen him play very well. I'm not saying that the Lakers are not going to make the playoffs. They may very well. Those smaller teams like the Mavericks and the Kings and the Grizzlies and Timberwolves, they may end up finishing ahead of those teams. Very well could. But they're going to play hell, finishing ahead of the Spurs or the Trailblazers or the Jazz. It's not going to be easy at all. LeBron's getting older. What happens if he has to miss 10 or 15 games? They're in a world of hurt. Davis misses games every year. You can almost count on him missing 10 or 15. And look, LeBron by himself with a subpar group around him, we've already seen. He doesn't suck, but the team sucks. He needs 2 superstars with him in order to do something, but that's in the East. In the West, it's tougher. It's a lot tougher. But what a lot of teams in the past have done, even if they're only 500 against the West, they play Eastern Conference teams and just feed on that and build up their record. It's going to be harder to do that. I mean, Boston's no joke. Milwaukee's is tough. Brooklyn is going to be a little better. The Heat don't suck. The Heat are a pretty good team. Toronto is still going to be a decent team. So there's some quality depth. Detroit, I don't think Detroit's going to be horrible at all. So you can't think that you're just going to go and feed on the East like you used to back in the old days. It's not going to be that easy. Everyone is just assuming, everyone loves the big names. LeBron, Anthony Davis, oh my God, this will get it done. But there's a lot of parity now, especially in the West. All these teams have a dynamic duo. The problem is the teams like the Rockets, like the Clippers, Denver and Utah, Portland, those teams have dynamic duos too. Now you can say, well, they're not as good as LeBron and Davis, but the entire surrounding team, that entire bench, the other starting five, are vastly superior to what the Lakers have. They just are. I'm sorry. So for all you Laker fans out there, like, oh, here we come. This is, who knows? I could be wrong. It's always out there. I could very well be wrong about this. I'm just not seeing it. I'm just not seeing how the Lakers are an automatic playoff team, even getting Anthony Davis. It's just because how they're going to have to play and the kind of defense they're going to have to put out there. I think they'll be a better defensive team than they were last year with Anthony Davis and Bradley and Green. That'll help. I'm just looking at the teams that they're going to be fighting that were playoff teams last year, and those teams have been together for a good long time, and even the young teams are starting to get chemistry now. So it's not going to be no easy road for LeBron. I'm sorry. I don't think he's going to be close to a championship this year. And I think a lot of things will have to break right for him just to make the playoffs this year. Because really, they weren't that close last year. And there's a lot of chemistry issues. I mean, he's going to have to learn how to play with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is going to have to learn how to play with him. And then you got a whole new roster of guys. I mean, it's not about JaVale McGee or Rondo. Those guys don't matter. It's the other guys on the team, like a Danny Green, Avery Bradley, or Caldwell Pope. Those guys are going to really have to step up. The Lakers, they're trying to buy their way into championship contention. And sometimes that works, especially in the Eastern Conference. The West is just so much different because you got all these teams that have chemistry, have great coaching, really good, solid organizations, and they draft well, and they know how to build their roster. They know how to add pieces. They know who to get rid of and who not to. And right now, the Lakers are completely starting all over. And that's going to cost them some games early, and it's going to be games they can't afford to lose if you want to make the playoffs. And if you're the A seed, you ain't winning no championship. I'm sorry. Someone's going to punch your clock out. You ain't getting past the Clippers or the Houston Rockets in the first round. You don't want no part of that. I mean, if you think about it, the 4 seed is a 50-win team last year. So you got to get well north of 50 games. So you're talking 13-plus games. You got it in order to get to a place where you have a shot. You have a real shot. The Lakers aren't doing that, not in the West. This thing's a beast. This thing's an absolute beast. I think they'll be better than they were next year, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to get to that 48 game mark that it's going to take to make the playoffs, and only in the 7th race seed. I don't see this as a championship year for the Lakers. And from this point on, they only get worse because LeBron's just going to get older and the decline is going to start to happen. Anthony Davis, who knows if he wants to stay or not? Does he want to stay for the LeBron James decline? Or is he going to want to try to take his talent somewhere else and try to win a championship? Because it's not going to be with the Lakers. I'm sorry, guys. They're not the best team in LA anymore. They're damn sure not the best team in the West. Nowhere close. But my prediction, they're going to be fighting for that 8th spot, just like a whole handful of teams are. And they may end up getting it. Who knows? But good luck. But 5th or 6th seed for the Lakers, I don't think so. I think there's better teams above them. And those better teams may not have those 2 players like the Lakers have. Those 2 really great players. Like I said, if you're just counting, if this was, NBA Jams, that old video game, then the Lakers are one of the top teams you want to have. But we're talking, this ain't NBA Jams. You're talking about a full roster, and the Lakers have one of the worst rosters of any of these dynamic duos. Period. I mean, their best player beyond that is maybe Kuzma or maybe old ass Danny Green. I maybe. And I'm sorry, I will take the third, fourth, and fifth best guys on Portland or Houston or the Clippers ahead of those two. I just will. So that's my prediction for the Lakers. I think they're still going to suck. They may just be a little bit better. But, you know, it would have been better instead of Anthony Davis going and getting a crap ton of shooters behind LeBron and let's go. Get some 3-and-D guys and let's go. They just didn't do that. All right, well, thanks for watching the video. I'll put out some other crap later. Bye.